starting just a little bit early, but the
Let me
recording
get out. Let me get out of here first.
Okay. I've already started the recording. We are recording now, and this will be available for those of you joining us on the recording. You will hear what this is all about, but it's a pretty exciting historical moment. History is in the making, and you will be part of it.
Yeah.
Stand by. 20 seconds till we begin officially. And we are ready to go in 10 seconds. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for a historic event here. We are now coming to you live for FreedomFest, and I am Terry Brock, and I'm joined by the lovely and charming Mark Skousen. Mark, thanks for being with us today.
I see you noticed the Jo Ann Skousen at the top.
Yes, we did notice that. That is good.
Jo Ann Skousen's husband, Mark Skousen.
Yes,
welcoming
indeed.
Everyone, including my subscribers to my newsletter and trading services. We're great to have you here on this day.
Yes, indeed. We are going to have a wonderful time. Matter of fact, today is a special day as we talk about Freedom Fest, the largest gathering of freedom-loving, liberty lovers, and great minds in Las Vegas every year. We're going to do a program here that gives you a lot of information, particularly today, because today is April the 14th as we're recording this. Tomorrow, April 15th, is an important day for Americans, particularly because it has something to do with taxes. Mark, tell us a little bit about Freedom Fest and about taxes and why today and tomorrow are particularly important days.
Well, certainly when it comes to taxes, I hear that sucking sound of all that money, and it's all savings and investment. People who have saved and invested money, they're now sending that to Washington, D.C., never to return, or if it does return, it's in a more unproductive way than what Americans are used to in the private sector. In fact, I teach a class at Chapman University here in California, financial economics, and I kind of went on a rant a couple of weeks ago talking about how taxes, how capital gains taxes are taxes on capital, and taxes on interest and dividends are a tax on capital, and the inheritance and federal estate tax that you pay is a tax on capital, and taxes and capital is the driving force of the economy. And when you have higher tax rates, that means more money is being taken out of the private sector, out of the capital markets, and going into government spending and consumption and often misuse and unproductive use of that money. And so it's a really unfortunate aspect of our lives that we face. And I will even say progressive taxation is a tax on capital because it's the wealthy people who are the big savers in the world. And they are the ones who are the productive agents that finance entrepreneurship and the business processes, the production processes and so forth. And so April 15th is an anti-freedom day, if you will. And I like to think Freedom Fest is one of the things that we do at Freedom Fest is we talk about the best way of thinking about taxation. Like we're going to have a debate on progressive taxation. I'm going to be debating Lanny Evenstein, both Steve Moore and me, talking about how bad progressive taxation is and why we need a flat tax, why we need a simple tax. And Freedom Fest is the event of the year. It's when we bring together all the freedom lovers from around the world to network and to celebrate liberty and to learn new things. And it's just great to see several thousand people. We want to continue to grow Freedom Fest and make it bigger and better. And it's just amazing, people who have been to Freedom Fest, how they love to return. We get a lot of people who come back for the second, third, fourth time. We're entering coming up our 10th year, our 10th anniversary. And so Freedom Fest is really catching on, and we're very excited about it.
Yeah, matter of fact, it's a kind of a pivotal point through the year that it's a place for people to come who want to share in the idea of liberty and freedom. And it ranges people that are, some would consider themselves conservative, others might consider themselves more libertarian, others might consider some other label that they choose. But I think
Then there's
overall, I like the way you say it,
those
Mark.
crazy anarchists that you belong to.
Yeah, there's people like that say, hey, we don't want any coercion, no initiation of coercion at all. And do that because, if we have freedom and liberty to do what you want, as long as you assume responsibility for what you're doing and you do not harm another, then you basically have a right to do what you want. But we get a chance to hear many different views. Matter of fact, one of the things Freedom Fest is known for, Mark, is to have debates on different topics. So you hear a person on this side and on that side so that we can go in and go, okay, it's civil, it's polite. We don't say anything that's going to be really obnoxious, but it's always a debate. So we go, ooh, I hadn't thought of that point of view. Hadn't thought of that. Tell us about some of the debates and the history and the kind of things we can expect this year at Freedom Fest.
Well, one of the big topics right now is, I don't know how many of you have seen all of the ads that are out there right now predicting a stock market crash, the next Armageddon. We have a whole slew of doom and gloom prognostications that have been coming out on Yahoo Finance. And I mean, I've just seen them everywhere.
Yeah,
a lot of them. We're going to have the ultimate bull and bear debate at Freedom Fest between the bulls, which would be Alec Green and Keith Fitzgerald, against the Bears, which would be Peter Schiff and Burt Doman. And so are we headed for a new American Renaissance, or are we headed for a new or a scary American apocalypse, or Armageddon, if you will? And we're going to really go into all of the details and see if the unfunded liability, the national debt problem, which is kind of the major issue that the bears are talking about in terms of the collapse of the stock market and the dollar and the economy and riots in the streets and all this sort of thing. I mean, I'm personally more in the bull camp. I've been a cautious optimist about the economy. I think frankly, the bears underestimate the ability of the government to constantly kick the can down the road. They underestimate the private sector's response and building a stronger balance sheet on their economy and so forth. And so I've been in these debates over the years, but I'm always willing to be open-minded, because let's face it, the most recent crisis is not going to be the last crisis. So the government's going to have to face this problem again, and how do they deal with it? And that's kind of the types of things that we like to do at Freedom Fest. Is we have an open mind. We look at both sides of the issues. Another example is this year, our mock trial, which is one of our more popular events, is going to be on global warming. So we are putting global warming advocates on trial. And it's going to be kind of fun, because Michael Shermer of Scientific American is going to be the defending attorney, and James Taylor, formerly of the Heartland Institute, is going to be the prosecuting attorney. And we have these experts coming in, physicists and biologists, who are going to make the case for and against global warming. We think this is important. We don't think the science is settled, and we don't think that it's appropriate to call people who question global warming to be deniers, like Holocaust deniers. I think we have to be, this is one thing we do at Freedom Fest, is present both points of view in a very civil manner, in a formal debate format. And I think it can make a big difference in people making their minds. And we have Kennedy from Fox News, who's going to be our judge again. So we're really looking forward to having her there. So the debates are really going to be fun. I'll mention one other debate. We have Dinesh D'Souza, who's a strong advocate of the Christian philosophy, is going to be debating Michael Shermer on the question of the Bible. Is the Bible the good Bible, the good book, or is it a book that that really is not something that we would be happy with some of the stories and some of the verses. So that's going to be Michael Shermer and Dinesh D'Souza. So I'm really looking forward to that debate. That's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I think the most important part of what you said, Mark, is when there's a debate, we're looking at different sides so that we get a chance to entertain politely and in a civil way what's going on, and even have some fun with it. With Kennedy, she's hilarious. She is wonderful.
Yeah, she's great. This will be her third year. Yeah,
so it'll be great to have.
She just emailed me the other day. She said, "I can't wait for Freedom Fest. I'm looking forward to being the judge." And in fact, I get letters all the time. I'm bringing 10 students from Chapman University on the student scholarship, which, as you know, is only $99 for students, and we're going to have several hundred students there. And one of the students came up to me and said, "I came last year, and I cannot wait for it again this year because it is just nonstop, 24/7 fun. It's an intellectual feast." And then we're in Las Vegas at night, and we have all kinds of activities. And I guess students don't get a lot of rest. Students are an interesting part. They're our future, and it's very exciting to have a lot of students there to give us the sense of youth that's there. And it really is a lot of fun. In fact, we're having a panel on outreach to students where we're having the representatives of all the student organizations like Alexander McCoben from Students for Liberty, Ron Robinson, Young America's Foundation, Campaign for Liberty. There's a number of groups out there. FEE, Foundation for Economic Education, focuses on young people, and Larry Reed will be there for that. So that's going to be a really fun panel to get students and young people interested in Freedom Fest and all the issues that are involved there.
Yeah, matter of fact, one of the things that I've really appreciated about Freedom Fest through the years is it is a real pivotal place to have that intellectual feast, as you talk about it. You hear different sides, and it's really where education is today, because universities, and you're a part of the university teaching, do a very good job. But this is in the moment. You're getting some of the best minds on key topics, not just on politics, on economics, but many areas. One of the areas I wanted to focus on, have you talk to us a little bit about, is the idea of health, living healthily, living long. And you've got some specific panels, not just one, but several sessions on this. Tell us a little bit about what you have planned for that.
Our healthcare events are always some of our most popular events, and it's kind of led by John Mackey of Whole Foods Markets. He does a fantastic job of talking about living longer, living better with the Whole Foods diet. We have people talking about vitamins. We have debates about government involvement in this sort of thing, whether that's good or bad. Obamacare is a major issue that we always have discussions and debates about. And it really is an important area of discussion, and we get a lot of interest in it. We even have the representatives of Singularity University, and the singular issue is, of course, the Methuselah Project. And that's how to live to be 1,000 years old or live forever. Jose Cordillera is a representative of Singularity University, and he always gets a very big crowd for the discussion on that issue as well. But I want to return to something that you said that is really important, and that is, why do people come to Freedom Fest? In particular, why do speakers come to Freedom Fest? You know, one of the things that's unique about our conference is that the speakers don't just come in normally, give a speech, sign a few books, and then leave. And a lot of speakers do that at conferences. But at our conference, they want to linger around. They want to stick around and find out what's going on and attend other sessions. I mean, the fact that Steve Forbes, who's a very busy executive, and John Mackey, a Whole Foods Market, they've set aside all 3 days to attend, to participate, to network, and to learn. In other words, learning is a very important thing, because when you're a speaker and you're making your point of view, how much do you really learn? You simply regurgitate what you know, and we who are listening to the speaker, we learn something. But most times speakers don't really learn that much. But the fact that, as Keith Fitzgerald says, Freedom Fest is the conference that speakers like to attend. To me, that really says a lot about what we're offering at this conference that other conferences don't offer.
Yeah, as a speaker myself, doing that regularly as a professional speaker, but also a speaker will be at Freedom Fest. I find this is where I can go to the well and I can learn on a variety of topics. Freedom Fest is really like a university. You've got so many topics there. Matter of fact, one of the complaints we have is there's so much good there. How do I choose? And of course, that's why we have the recordings available as well. It's like now you can sample all of this. You can and go as in depth as you want because it's available. It really is an intellectual feast. But then even beyond that, you get a chance to hang around with liberty-loving people, whatever they might choose to call themselves, just being with those people. Mark, don't you see that as one of the real benefits also of the Freedom Fest?
And, you make connections all the time. I mean, the people who come there, deals are made, investment opportunities are made there, connections for opportunities are made there. Filmmakers meet each other and come up with ideas for opportunities for the film industry. And in fact, one of our most successful events at Freedom Fest is our Anthem Film Festival.
Yes, I want to have you tell us about that.
I think that would be a great opportunity to introduce my wife, Jo Ann, to come in and tell us a little bit about what she has planned for this year in the Anthem Film Festival. So,
exactly.
Jo Ann,
we've been seeing Jo Ann Skousen there. The name, you don't look like Jo Ann, but here she is. Jo Ann, welcome aboard.
Hi, thanks. It's good to be here.
We're glad to have you here. Now, we're really excited about the Anthem Film Festival. You packed a lot in the years before. It's like, wow, lots of good. Tell us what do we have, at least a little bit of what's going on this next year.
Well, our final deadline was yesterday. And so, as usual, I ended up with a flurry of entries yesterday. So I was really excited about that. In the past 3 different times, our best films have come in on the last day. So I'm kind of excited to see. I haven't had a chance to watch them yet because they just arrived in the evening, in fact. But quite often, people are quickly trying to do their last-minute tweaks. So I'm excited to see what came in. We have a lot of wonderful short narratives this time dealing with dystopian futures, problems with TSA and over security. One on immigration that is just beautifully made. Another one that supposes that asks us to think about our privilege compared to other people, and the fact that we all have different perspectives, and what one person would see as a tragedy, another one would see as a great bonus. So that's going to be really fun to see. We have a short narrative on civil asset forfeitures and the problem of police just stopping people on the road and taking what they have, taking their money, taking their goods, because it might be being used in some kind of crime, and the people can get it back, but it's so expensive to hire an attorney to get it back that a lot of times they can't, and the devastating effects that has. We have another one on police brutality, not just in terms of people, but pets. Police are going in and killing pets while they're investigating crimes, and sometimes they're even at the wrong house. So that's going to be an interesting story. We have one on prison entrepreneurship and how inmates are being taught and given the opportunity to learn how to handle their own businesses. So when they get out, they'll be able to get a job and support themselves, and that is really the best way to keep recidivism low, to keep them from going back into prison. So some really interesting films coming up.
Yeah, I like that because we're going to get a chance to see them. And I know that Gina, my partner, and I have often looked at those films and then gone back later and get the DVD so we could watch it more in depth. Or we'll see a film that we go, oh, I want to see that. We don't have time right now, but we're exposed to it. And now we can get that either on a Netflix or Hulu or some other place that it's available, or buy the DVD.
Yeah, it takes a while for it to come out. These are festival films, so they aren't in distribution yet. Right. So quite often you'll have to wait a few months. But yeah, we always post on our website how you can get the film later.
Yeah, we saw
Another
one.
film I'm really excited about is Can We Take a Joke, which we saw clips of it last year. They talked about the film before it was finished, and it's been doing great at the festivals. They have a distribution deal now, and we'll be able to see the whole thing. And it talks about the problem of political correctness, people being overly offended. Comedians don't even want to go on college campuses anymore because of these safe spaces and worries about being offended. So it's a great film, has some really good comedians in it talking about this problem. So I'm excited to be showing that film too.
Well, you have done a marvelous job with that, and someone who has attended that and learned from it, I really appreciate what you've done, and we look forward to some very good opportunities. And it looks like we have someone joining us right now here on Blab. Katie Payton, is that correct? Katie, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
There we go. Telling us we got poor internet signal. So, Katie, we only have that. Mark, why don't you come on back? Maybe we can have the two of you sitting there. We can see both of you. And Katie, I think you have a question. We'd love to hear from you.
What is the long-term approach for gold, meaning gold bars?
Long-term approach for gold bars. Mark, you're the perfect person to help us on that.
Yeah, gold has been in a very nice recovery stage, if you will. I actually gave a sell signal on gold back in December of 2011, did not get back in, but in the last month, it's been acting much stronger, stabilizing at the 1200 to 1250 level, and may keep moving back up. Long term, I will tell you, since we went off the gold standard in 1971, as I tell my students, gold and silver have both been more volatile than they have been in the past, but overall are a superior inflation hedge. And so if you're willing to hold on to these positions of gold and silver, and now I think is a good time to be buying both. Silver is at $16 an ounce, gold at $12.50. So I think silver is a better deal right at this point. But to buy these American Eagle silver dollars, which is our official symbol of FreedomFest, representing sound money and freedom and liberty. These are great coins to collect and to use as anniversary gifts, as tips, employee benefits. If your student graduates, giving them a silver dollar. It's really important that people see what real money is all about. So I am now bullish on gold and silver, particularly with the Federal Reserve now backing away from raising interest rates. They're trying to engage in easy money again to stimulate the economy. That's going into gold. That's going into the stock market. Who knows how long it's going to last before they raise rates, but that's all very bullish for gold. So, by the way, we always have a big presence of coin dealers at FreedomFest, and so this is an opportunity for you to find out what's going on in the gold market. There's a lot of rumors out there that China, Russia, India is collecting a lot more gold than they have in the past. So all of that, I think, is pretty bullish.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Katie. And we have someone else joining us. Ash Whitener is joining us. Ash, good to have you with us today.
Hey, Terry, good to be here.
And you have a question.
Yeah, I was interested in the role of cryptocurrencies in addition to the hard monies, gold and silver, as a way to protect your money and escape the IRS as well.
Well, I think, Terry, you probably have some good comments to make about that as well. I know Bitcoin is a very big issue every year at FreedomFest. We have Naomi Brockwell, the Bitcoin girl, and we have experts who are coming and speaking on the subject of Bitcoin. Is there a film?
Yeah, let me just mention, we also have a film called Deep Web that will be talking about Bitcoin and some of those issues. Lynn Ulrich, who is Ross Ulrich's mother, is going to be there speaking. So I think you'll enjoy that, and we'll have a panel on that topic too. So hope you'll enjoy that.
Yeah, excellent.
And I would just say that Bitcoin is here to stay. The government may do whatever they can to shut it down because it is in a lot of ways a private way to transact business, and the way I understand it's developing, it's going to be very difficult for the government to control it and to tax it and all that sort of thing. So it's an extremely exciting area if they can stabilize the price of Bitcoin so it doesn't get so volatile. I don't know what the price is now, but it was over $1,000 at one point.
I think it's about 425 or so now. So it is still
so it's moving back up like gold in that respect. So is that something that do you trade in Bitcoin, or what's your interest there?
Yeah, well, I do trade in Bitcoin only because I have technical analysis like as my background, but I don't recommend anyone trade in Bitcoin. I recommend people hold maybe, just a couple percentages of their portfolio in Bitcoin, just like, more percentage in gold and silver, of course, because they are more stable. But I am really curious to see how people at Freedom Fest this year see Bitcoin as a complement to gold and silver rather than a competitor to gold and silver. I was at Freedom Fest last year, and I was there with a precious metals company, not representing them, but I came with them, and there seemed to be a dichotomy between the gold bugs, if you will, and the younger people that had been around the crypto space, and it seemed almost like a libertarian type of fighting between the gold and the crypto people. I'm really interested to come this year and see if it still has that back and forth nature, or if people can, like, if the gold bugs and the crypto bugs see the benefits of each currency.
Yeah, it seems like there's advantages and disadvantages to each. I think for many of us, we think it's not either or, it's both and.
Exactly.
And we've got to look at what the market says. Again, the market reigns supreme. What I say really is irrelevant. What does matter is what the market says. And that's what we've got to
I
watch.
would also mention that John McAfee, who's running for Libertarian Party, but also is an expert on cybersecurity, is coming and speaking at Freedom Fest. I suspect he has some good comments to be made on this subject as well.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I can't wait to check it out, guys. Well, thank you for taking my call, Terry.
You bet. Thank you, Ash. Good to see you. Yeah, I think what Ash mentioned there, it was really important that we see really what matters at Freedom Fest. You hear many different points of view. It really is like a university, as a university should be. We get a chance to hear different points of view, and you might agree with some, you might disagree with others, but we, in a civil way, talk, we laugh, we have fun, and it's a great place for people to get together. Now, Mark, I know we...
Yeah, in fact... This brings up a subject. We always bring in social democrats of various types. We have actor Ed Asner. We're doing with Christina Tobin and with John Fund and others. We're doing a panel on voting access, voting fraud, gerrymandering. This is a presidential year, and this is really important. Now, we don't have any political candidates who have agreed to come at this time, mainly because Freedom Fest is 1 week before the Republican convention and just a few weeks before the Democratic convention. We have invited Bernie Sanders to come. We haven't received a response, but we want John Mackey and several others are wanting to debate him on socialism versus capitalism. We think that would be a really fun debate.
That would be good.
As you know, last year our most controversial speaker was Donald Trump. And we got a lot of flack, a lot of criticism from libertarians on that. We never said he was a libertarian, but we are open to, we're the largest gathering of free minds. Open-mindedness is extremely important to hear everybody's perspective. And I made sure when Donald Trump came that he did a Q&A session so that libertarians could respond. And I remember Roberto Salinas from Mexico, I arranged for him to ask the very first question. And he was really mad at me at first that we had Donald Trump there. But afterwards, he thanked me. He said, yeah, my debate with Donald Trump went viral where I quoted from the Statue of Liberty and stuff like that. So we think that's really important. This year, our keynote speaker is going to be George Foreman, who's not only the former heavyweight champion of the world, but also a great entrepreneur who sold his grill business for $138 million. He's going to be speaking on the art of fighting in business and life and doing a special session, meet and greet with 100 attendees and signing their book and having their photograph taken with him. But he's going to also be speaking in front of everyone, and I'll be the moderator and in inviting questions from the audience. That'll be fun. We have Judge Napolitano coming, who will tell us about the Supreme Court and the judicial issues on the Constitution that are facing this nation. We have Richard Fink coming, who's Charles Koch's right-hand man for 40 years. Charles Koch actually was seriously considering coming to Freedom Fest, but unfortunately had a conflict. And so we've invited him for the following year, and he's tentatively agreed to do that. We hope that will come to pass. But he's sending his right-hand man for 40 years who's going to tell us what he's been telling all these wealthy donors who meet privately at the Koch retreats every, twice a year. So there are some people that are speaking at our conference that just don't speak at other conferences, and they're all coming together at once in this one event. And that's what Freedom Fest is all about, is where all the freedom lovers come together once a year. We all live busy lives, so this is all we can afford to do once a year. But I really think that if we don't hang together, we shall surely hang separately.
I think it was Ben Franklin who said something like that as well.
That's right. That's right. And it certainly applies.
Last year, we also had Paul Krugman coming, which I thought was saying a lot for Paul, because he was in an environment where not many people would agree with him, but he was there. He had a civil discussion. We listened to what he had to say. Another way that Freedom Fest handles it.
Well, in fact, the Paul Krugman, Steve Moore debate was definitely the thing that really attracted 2,500 people there. And we had a very big crowd for that event. And Steve Moore, who's going to be at Freedom Fest again this year, along with Grover Norquist and a lot of other people that are really important in this freedom movement and are out there and dealing with the candidates every year, they're all coming together for this event. And Steve Moore tells me that the debate between Paul Krugman and Steve Moore is now being published by Encounter Books. It'll be coming out in the next month, and it will be available at Freedom Fest. We, of course, have the Freedom Fest bookstore that Jim Perrone is running this year. And, of course, we're big believers in readers. We think that's really important. And let me mention one other thing that I think everybody should be excited about, and that's my Libertarian CEO panel. That is really going to be a rock and roll debate. So we're getting together John Mackey of Whole Foods Markets. We have John Allison, who was the one who made BB&T Bank, the largest bank in the South, and then he became president of Cato. So we're going to have who's the gal from Dole? Yes. Yes, so we're going to have a bunch of people representing Steve Forbes as well, and Bill Bonner. Bill Bonner, who's the owner of Agora Financial, Agora Inc., that has the Oxford Club and all the other. He's one of our competitors. He's coming and talking. And I'm going to be the moderator of this panel. I taught a similar course called Libertarian CEOs last year at Chapman University. It was ranked rated the number one business class in the history of Chapman University. And I'm going to moderate this, and it's really going to be fun to watch. So I hope all of you can be there. And I don't know if Terry, you want to tell everyone how to register? Maybe we can talk a little bit about the cost of Freedom Fest and how to register and so forth.
Yes, indeed. Well, we're going to be very easy. You go to that www.freedomfest.com, and you'll be able to see that. The registration is there, and we have a special price. Matter of fact, Mark, I understand that there's a special discount they can get if they act now before May 1st. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's correct. So we have a kind of a May Day deadline. We've had to raise our rates finally for the first time in 9 years, mainly because the costs have just risen so dramatically at the hotel and so forth. And so the retail price, the final retail price would be $595 per person, $895 per couple. However, if they register before May 1st, May Day, May 1st, they get $100 off. So it's $495 per person, $795 per couple. And we hope that people will take advantage of that and sign up. And we have lots of luncheons and special events, and especially our Saturday night banquet is always a thrill. People love that as well. So it really is a family gathering, and I hope people will take advantage of the special rate and register early and join us. We're going to have several thousand people there again. We're really very excited about it.
Yeah, exactly. And as we wind things down here, I have to say it's an investment of your time, your money, and your energy, and it's well worth it. Think about it. If you wanted to go to school as someone who is 18, 19 years old and you want to go to college, you're going to put some coins in there. You're going to put your time and energy. This is a place where you want to be. I've benefited from it both in business and in my personal life. Being around a group of liberty lovers, freedom lovers, and being able to hear many different points of view, being able to learn how we can run our businesses better, those of us that are entrepreneurs, this is a place that you really want to be. It is well worth it. And for a few coins, you're there. I mean, think about how you spend money on other things. This is going to be well worth it. Mark, we appreciate what you've done. Any closing thoughts?
Thank you. And I'd like to invite my wife, Jo Ann, to come back in here as well and just give her perspective on this year's Freedom Fest and why she looks forward to it every year and seeing and meeting you people.
Yeah,
we've been doing this together now since 2007. So it's just been a great partnership.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to see people. We never sleep. There's something going on all the time at Freedom Fest. The film festivals and the speakers and the general sessions. And we've also started something new this year. As soon as you sign up, you can become part of the Freedom Fest Facebook group. It's a closed group. Many people have been joining, and it's a great way to get to know people ahead of time before you get there. So you find out what you have in common with other people, and you look forward to seeing them.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that, Jo Ann, because that's something very important. Freedom Fest now has a Facebook group. When you join, when you sign up and register, you get to be part of that, which means it's ongoing. It's not just an event in July. It's now become a year-round community, and you can do that as well as, Mark, we're going to be doing many other blab sessions like this with some of our speakers. So we're encouraging people to watch your mail, watch the email. We'll let you know as those speakers come out where we can go in depth with really rich content sessions, finding out what's going on, and you'll be able to be part of this. So Mark, we've taken a leap forward here. What I have to ask you, this is the first time we've done Blab Live for Freedom Fest. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's just been great, and especially the opportunity for others to see us on TV and not just hear us on a radio interview, which I do a lot of radio interviews with Salem Communications, which is the new owner of my newsletter, by the way, and they're always there, big time. In fact, Larry Elder is going to be one of our attendees this year from Salem, and he does the radio broadcasts and stuff like that.
In LA.
So being part of TV like this, having you as a host, and we are delighted, Terry, that you are going to be our MC this year for Freedom Fest, and we're very excited to have a professional MC taking care of us, and we're in good hands this year. This is really fun. We take over Planet Hollywood, the entire hotel, and let me tell you, people really are excited to come and meet like-minded individuals and even people that they don't necessarily agree with, so that we can have a civil discussion. And I'll tell you, we've had a lot of social democrats who have come to Freedom Fest and said, wow, we were really thrilled to see that we were treated with respect. We weren't shouted out. We weren't, it wasn't turned into a big fight and that sort of thing. It was wonderful, a wonderful feeling. And even in the film
I find
business,
it
same thing.
particularly in the film industry because, you know, libertarians often look at the financial side of it. Reduced taxes, reduced government regulation, keeping more of what you earn and so forth. But there's another side to freedom too, and that's the freedom to make art.
Yes.
That is more difficult when you have to worry about where your next meal is coming from and how you're going to pay your rent. So it was kind of surprising one time. I had a panel on libertarian filmmakers, and some of them from more socialist countries were saying that the safety net made it possible for them to do art, and that was a different perspective than we normally have. And
what freedom is,
elicited quite an argument from Wayne Allen Root, who was also on the panel. But it's something we should think about, that there are different ways of looking at freedom. And all of my filmmakers have said how surprised they were at how well they were welcomed and how much fun they had at Freedom Fest.
And I also mentioned that, Terry, your wife, Gina, who has a MBA from Harvard, we're delighted that we're going to do an MBA, what they don't teach you at Harvard Business School panel with with Gina and Don Smith and Grover Norquist and Jack Reed. Jack Reed is the foremost authority on real estate, and he's also a veteran from Vietnam, and he has a Harvard MBA. He's a graduate from West Point, so he's an interesting character. We just have, you will not believe the characters that you will meet over the years. It's really going to be exciting at this year's Freedom Fest.
And speaking of Gina, she's joining us now. She's been there taking care of things in the background. Those of you watching, she is the engineer. She's also an engineer from Georgia Tech and here taking care of it. I kid her that she's from Atlanta. I went to Georgia State and got my MBA there. Not everyone can get in there. Gina had to settle for Harvard and didn't get into Georgia State. But that's okay. I still love her. But Gina, welcome.
And one of the things that we love the people that are running Freedom Fest. We have the sweetest people that run these conferences. They are there to help you. They are there with smiling faces. They are there they're knowledgeable. They're friendly. It's really what the freedom movement is all about. We're always excited. It's really a family affair, and we can't wait to get together in Las Vegas every July. Remember, free parking still exists at Planet Hollywood.
For a while.
And so a lot of people drive in and they come to see us. So we tell people to bike there, drive there, fly there, motorcycle there. It's really a conference that everybody needs to attend. And listen, we need to come together. That's so important. And Freedom Fest offers that opportunity.
Yep. And Gina, while you're here, we'd like to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Freedom Fest and the event that we've just had today?
Well, I'm getting an echo, but are you getting an echo or am I okay?
Yes.
It's a pretty bad echo there.
Yeah, just a second.
We're going to do that. That engineer can probably take care of that.
Okay, I think I took care of it.
Not exactly.
No, it's still there.
Well,
If you had gone to Georgia State,
everything else worked perfectly. Just a little glitch. Yeah.
okay, I see it. There we go. Okay.
Oh, much better.
So I am thrilled to be coming back to Freedom Fest this year. I'm thrilled to be part of the Freedom Fest team, and just so glad that we had a lot of people join us for this show. I've been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes to produce it, and thanks for the props there. Appreciate that, Ian. That's good. And
yes, thank you.
Yes, they're giving the little props down at the bottom corner there. And I just wanted to say, yes, I'm excited about bringing that panel. That's going to be terrific. And Jo Ann, I didn't even know about those films that you mentioned, the one about the police people killing prisoner, dogs and such, and the entrepreneurs program for the prisoners. We have a friend, Ed Robinson. Terry, you may not know that. Terry Robinson, Ed Robinson's very involved in that program. Mm-hmm. And so excited to see those films. That's going to be great. There's just, I'd heard about Freedom Fest for so many years, and then I was just thrilled when I got to go a few years ago, and then we've gone back, and it's just a fabulous, phenomenal time.
Absolutely.
You won the selfie contest last year too, didn't you, Gina?
That's right. That's right. Well, we are doing a lot of things at Freedom Fest. A lot of it is due also to Valerie Durham, who is for the second year. She is our conference director, and she has an assistant, Mim Blower, who's doing a fantastic job as well.
Thank you, Mim.
It's really going to be exciting to get all together here and bring it all together. It takes a lot of work and effort, thousands of hours to put this conference together.
And let me tell you too, it's easier to sign up online, but if you call in, you get to talk to Jennifer, Karen, and Amy, and they are so much fun. So you'll talk to them on the phone to register, and then you'll meet them at the registration desk at Freedom Fest, and you'll feel like you've always known them. So online is easier. Calling in by phone is more fun.
And by the way, that number is 855-850-3733.
Very good.
So 855-850-3733. If you want to call in and talk to our gals and get signed up, and we're pretty excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if I can do my traditional sign off until Freedom Fest, this is Mark Skousen and Jo Ann Skousen saying, so long, fellow free marketeers, and remember, AEIOU.
Yes, indeed.
Bye-bye.
Mark, Jo Ann, thank you.
See you at the
Gina, thank
movies.
you.
All right. See you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.